Welcome back to another episode of the Tiffany Paul Show. It's the end of the calendar year, new beginnings, but I'm celebrating no anxiety. And I know we've talked about depression in the past and the intrusive thoughts that can enter your mind, but I don't really think I went into the detail around the crippling anxiety that I experienced this past summer. And I know that so many of you are experiencing anxiety right now as you're navigating an identity crisis, an ego death, maybe the holidays, the beginning of the year. I know holidays can be like a really hard time for people. So let's break down exactly. First off, I can share why I had anxiety, because maybe why I had anxiety is different than you. And sometimes, as you know, there's not even a reason for anxiety. You're like, why am I anxious? I don't even know. Well, I had reasons. I'll share them in a minute. And then I'll also share what worked for me in getting rid of this crippling anxiety. So let's start off with like, why the fuck did I have anxiety? Looking back in hindsight, the theme is essentially uncertainty. Like there is so much uncertainty in my life that it just became debilitating. It went into just like freeze mode, like fight, flight, or freeze. Like I just froze and I couldn't do anything besides like sit in my bed and like drag myself out to do the bare minimum. And my mind was just like spinning and spinning and spinning. And part of it was like this guy that broke my heart. But part of it was like, what am I doing with my career? What am I doing with my life? What's my passion? What's my purpose? Like, evaluating every freaking decision I ever made in my life, leaving corporate, getting a divorce, just like questioning everything, grieving a reality that no longer existed, grieving the way I thought my life would go. And then with all that, just the anxiety of like, okay, and now what? And now what? And without the direction, without the plan, like that left so much room for uncertainty. And while the vision is getting clearer, and I'll share more on that soon, I'm just trying to like wait and not speak too soon. I am making peace with the uncertainty and with the unknown, while also realizing how critical and important it has become for me to create new ways of certainty and routine and discipline and things that I can count on regularly to foster a sense of certainty when my system is feeling so out of control. So that is the, I guess, summary as to why I was anxious. Just like life not working out the way I planned it, like surprise, surprise, that happens to the best of us. But then also like just fear of the future, right? Fear of the unknown and not really making peace with that reality. Like, no, we don't ever really know. So I don't know why I got so spun around, but I think there is a level of certainty that I've had in the past around certain goals and certain achievements and certain directions that I just lacked this summer. And so I just got back from a Tony Robbins conference, and that is interesting because in the conference, he talked about that if you live a life prioritizing certainty, you are destined for a life of misery. And it's very interesting because I have always been someone that likes like variety, adventure, like spontaneity. And I've taken so many risks and made so many changes the past few years because I'm someone who doesn't need a lot of certainty. But what happened is that I made so many changes to my life, from my career to my marriage to becoming a mom to moving, several times, to just changing my identity, like who I am, like changing the podcast, like finances have been up and down. Like there have been so many changes the past few years, not only in my personal life, but in the world around us, right? Like there are, it has been uncertain. Like since the pandemic, like shit has been like, what is even happening? And so I feel like all this uncertainty and newness I've created in my own life, coupled with all the newness and uncertainty in the world, it just like put me in this fucking mode of freeze. And so I totally understand where Tony Robbins says that if you're constantly looking for certainty, you're going to be small and safe and never really reach your full potential. And that advice is like for the mainstream, right? So like, yeah, if you are always going to stay in the certain job and the certain relationship and the certain situation, and the way you've always been, the way things have always been, like, yeah, you're destined for a life that's not going to be your fullest potential. And like, I'm not like everybody else. Like, I don't go with the status quo. I'm not the mainstream. And if you're listening to this, you're probably not either. And because we're like the real ones, right? Like, we keep it real. We're fucking making moves. We're like facing our demons. We're like in the shadows. We're in like the depths of despair. Like, we are the rare ones. Most people avoid this shit, and they avoid taking risk, and they avoid pain. And getting out of pain can be a motivator for some, and working towards pleasure can be a motivator for others. And for me, like, I'll sit in the pain. Like, I'm a glutton for pain. Like, I do want to get out, but like, I've been marinating in it a little bit. I've created a lot of painful moments in my life, honestly, like opportunities to fail. I've been letting go of a lot, changing a lot, but my nervous system and my mind, my body are like trying to catch up with all the moves that my soul and my higher self has wanted me to make. And so what's happening is that I realized that I actually, in order to stabilize and move forward from this sad girl summer and enter, what will be the new year with hopefully a little bit more of a stable mental state, I need to create more certainty in my life. Because without certainty and a strong foundation of safety within and around you, you don't have the stability to hold yourself as you make these like massive moves. And while I'm not making huge changes in my life right now, I am showing up in a more authentic and vulnerable way on the podcast. And that has been a lot for my nervous system. It has been a lot in that I'm scared of what people are thinking of me. I'm scared of not having it all together. I'm scared of even like when I'm like not sad anymore and when I like have my shit together, then are people gonna like drop off and not want to talk to the happy girl? Like, people only want to clap for you when you're sad. People only want to cheer for you when you're down. And then it's like, well, what about when I'm happy again? Like, then what? So it's like, I've been scared of being exposed as like a sad girl, and I've been scared of what happens when I'm a happy girl, And so, anyways, I want to talk today about just creating more certainty in your life. If you're someone who's feeling deeply dysregulated, or like you're in like this really fearful, kind of frozen state, because in order to reach for anything in life, like, there's going to be like uncertainty, right? There's going to be unknowns. We don't know, right? Like, we really just don't know anything. But there are ways that we can create certainty in our life to help fortify us that are actually going to help us expand and grow. And there are ways that we can prioritize certainty that are going to dim our light and keep us small and stuck. And so today I want to talk about ways in which I'm working to create more certainty in my life to help bridge this gap of anxiety that I felt in the past around having so much uncertainty. And so we can focus, like, wherever our focus goes, right, our energy goes. And I know that, like, this whole summer, I basically saw my life as like a bunch of problems versus like the old version of me would see like it all as possibility. But then when shit hits the fan, you're not like, oh, look at all the possibilities. But like, essentially every problem is a possibility. But it's like, I just got so overwhelmed with problems. My focus went to the problems. My focus went to the uncertainty. So now I'm trying to shift my mind back into possibility. I'm trying to anchor in some more certainty, knowing the reality that there is nothing truly certain. I could die tomorrow. And like, let's fingers fucking cross that doesn't fucking happen. You'll know next week. But anyway, so here are 3 simple ways that I have been channeling my energy of anxiety for the better. And also 3 ways that I've been creating certainty in my life. So they're the same 3 things. So the 3 ways I've been channeling this anxiety for the better. First, I've been creating. And so every week I've been recording these episodes on the podcast or have been doing some writing. And so creating allows the energy to move, and you can literally change your anxious energy into creation energy, like channel it into creating something, even if like you don't want to do it, even if you're not going to share it. Like every episode that I recorded this summer, I was like, I don't even have to release it. And I recorded them for myself. And I was like, I'm not creating to share, I'm creating to create. And so the more I use that anxiety and I started creating with it, the more it dissipated because I was transmuting the anxiety from a negative energy into a positive force. And so I would create consistently every week and also do like a little editing every day. Like I used to tell myself, like, what's the point of doing like something 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day? Because I could just sit down in one day and batch it. But like with all the uncertainty in my life, I wanted to create that consistent thing that I did every day. That was like every day I create like a couple reels from my podcast episodes. And every week I record my episodes. So creating that consistency around what you're creating really helped me. In the past, I would look at that and say, like, that's not productive. Like, who cares if you did 10 minutes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Like, just do it 1 hour, one day. That's stupid. But I needed the consistency and the certainty of something I was doing every day that was a positive output of my anxious energy and turning that anxious energy into a creation energy. So that worked really well for me to not only do it, but do it consistently. And the next area of channeling the energy for good and doing it consistently was exercise. So, moving your anxious energy by moving your body is the best way to transmute it. Like for me, I'm a runner and just running or moving my body every single day. Some days I didn't feel like running, and so I would walk or a small stretching session, but like moving your body every day consistently, even if it's just a walk around the block, or like I didn't make it to the gym today, fine, but consistently moving every day, knowing that every day you're going to work out. And for me, I try to make it at the same time. So at 3:30, I work out. And so it's like always at 3:30, I go to the gym. I don't think about it, I just do it. And so having that certainty around what I'm going to do at 3:30 every day, creating that structure, and then also a positive way to channel that anxious energy into positive energy of like taking care of my physical body, moving the energy through, sweating it out, really helped me be consistent. Okay, and the last one is cleaning. First off, all summer long, I just like bed rotted and first off, I'm a messy person, so I'm not good at putting things away. And I have piles of papers like all over my house. And I had just moved this summer, which was like another thing that was uncertain. It's like, oh my God, I'm so ungrounded. I don't even have a home. Um, and I also had not unpacked my home, so it didn't feel like home. And so every day I would clean. And it was usually in the morning, like, because I'm not a morning person and I also hate cleaning. So if I don't get it done right out of the way, I'll just probably never do it. Like, I'm not saying I would clean for an hour. I would just clean for like 10 to 30 minutes every day. And just like starting with like the dishes, I'm just like loading the dishes in, cleaning the countertops, like just doing a little bit of cleaning or like organizing a drawer or like putting my laundry away. So every day I would clean. And again, it would be like this productive way of like moving the energy of like also getting out of my mind. Like cleaning can be very meditative, like wiping the counters, doing the dishes, folding the laundry. You're kind of like not really always thinking about like how your life's a disaster. You're just kind of focused on the task at hand. And I like to do it first thing in the morning too, because my brain is not fully awake. So I can't really do anything that requires thinking. And again, like because I hate it so much, I can oftentimes talk myself out of doing it. And so cleaning was a positive act of like cleaning my house and feeling like I was like doing something with my life. Like I put the dishes away, like I made my bed. And so it started producing these like positive feelings in me. And again, like transferring the energy. And so like every day, knowing that I consistently was going to, spend my energy doing positive things that like served me really helped. And so every day I knew I would clean, I would move my body, and I would consistently create something. And so once I started putting that plan in place, like my anxiety like started reducing significantly just within the first few weeks. When my anxiety was at its peak, I had to make sure that I had consistent support on my calendar, like every week, sometimes more than one time a week. I needed to make sure every week that I had something on my calendar for support, like a therapist, a coach, a lunch with a friend, energy healing, a psychic at times. Like every week I needed support on my calendar, and that helped my mind be like, okay, I am certain that I have support next week. Because every time I would not have something on my calendar, I'd be like, oh my God, like I'm alone. like I don't have support, I would start spiraling and I would be like, can I handle it? Because when things are really dark, I'm like, can I handle it? And I think I knew I couldn't handle it. And so always knowing that every week I had something on my calendar to support my mental health was so important and helped give me that structure of like certainty, support, safety, because ultimately like safety is found within, but like we can also create that safety and certainty in our external reality through consistency, through routines, through regular support and things that our human can rely on. And with me too, like not having my kids all the time, that was very inconsistent and really messed with me energetically. Like having my kids and then being alone and just going back and forth. Just everything is so inconsistent and not knowing like what my future was. It just really helped me to reduce my anxiety by creating these simple structures of certainty within my day, within my week. And that has eventually led to like my anxiety being like completely gone at this moment in time. Even having, my summer fling reach back out, and he was one of the unknowns of like, could we ever try it again? Like, there ever be another chance? And like, now it's a known, right? We're certain. We tried it. We reconnected, and now we're certain that he's not committed to changing and emotionally available. He's not emotionally like what I need. He's not able to give me what I need, and he's not willing to do any work, and I'm not willing to lower my standards. So like this unknown is actually becoming more of a known, which I think is just further supporting the lack of anxiety. Um, but the point is, it's just like a testament that like I've definitely made progress, just really working on improving myself and building that safety and certainty in my life, despite there still being so many unknowns. Like not much has changed in my life. Like nothing has really come in that's new and certain. It's just making more peace with that self and finding it within. So I wanted to share that update just about anxiety and what's helped me in case you also are maybe experiencing any sort of anxiety or you're working to overcome that anxiety, because anxiety can be a bitch, it can really take you down. I don't even know what happened this summer. I like blacked out. It was just like so bad. I don't even know how it got so bad, but I'm back, baby. I'm back. I'm officially back. We're easing into the new year. So here's to having a more stable new year. And so let's get into today's rant, because even though a boy totally ruined my summer, and even though I'm so happy I got divorced, even though it was challenging and hard, today's rant is about boy jobs, because as much as boys have also like made my life hell lately, I really don't appreciate all the boy jobs that I'm left to manage on my own. And last night, a fire alarm started beeping in my house. And like, I've never had to go in the middle of the night, go grab a ladder, climb a ladder, figure out how to get the fire alarm off, and then figure out how to turn it off. And this particular fire alarm, it did not even have battery. It's like, I don't think, or did it have a battery? I don't know. We had to like turn this little thing to make it stop. And then it's like, well, is our house on fire? Like, is this a bad smoke alarm? Like, I don't know what the problem is. But I just don't appreciate that I don't have a man here to figure out what is wrong with this fire alarm. Like, are we all going to die from carbon monoxide? Clearly not. Here I am. But no girl should be climbing on a ladder to do a fire alarm. No girl needs to buy batteries or kill bugs, hang up pictures, or fucking take out the trash. Like, those are jobs for boys. I had my rug delivered finally after being here for months without a single rug. I had to figure out how to lift this couch up to put the rug underneath. Like, how does one lift a couch and then put the rug underneath the couch while holding up the rug with one arm, or holding up the couch with one arm, scooching the rug underneath it, and then going to the other side and lifting the couch. And literally even my son, when he came home, he's like, "Oh, a new rug, Mom, how did you get it under the couch?" I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't know how I did it either, but I did it, okay? But I don't appreciate that. Like, that's a boy job. Like, a boy should be lifting up this motherfucking couch and putting a rug in. And I know I can go hire someone, but I don't want to fucking hire someone. That sounds like a fucking chore. And I've had enough of chores. And speaking of chores, I actually think that we should just rant about chores altogether. It's like the never-ending cycle, and it's like a living hell that I cannot escape. It's like every fucking time, every dish is off the counter and into the dishwasher, and you have that feeling of, oh my God, I did it. My kitchen is clean. What happens next? You get thirsty, and you grab a cup, and you drink some water, And then now you have a cup. And then you have snack. And then you have a lunch. And then before you fucking know it, all the fucking dishes are there again. And you can't load them in the dishwasher because the dishes are still clean and you haven't unloaded them. And you don't have time to unload the dishwasher because you have a life. And so then it fucking all starts over again. The same with the laundry. God gave me a disability in the fact that I cannot remember to move the laundry from the washer to the dryer. It's a disability. No matter how hard I try, I can't get it right. I don't know, something in my brain, I think it's the part of me that hates cleaning, just puts the laundry into the washer, and somehow the moment I do that, it just vanishes from my brain and I forget that I ever did it. And then I remember like a day later that I have wet laundry in the washer that I need to move to the dryer. So then I do that and I say, fuck, I got to remember to get this laundry out in an hour so that it's not wrinkled. And what happens the moment I close that door? I walk away and it just vanishes from my mind. And so days later, I see in the dryer that I have fucking laundry that's all fucking wrinkly. If you are like me, you know what happens next. You refresh it. So you do like the quick cycle 15-minute refresh. And you're like, I'm going to remember in 15 minutes to refresh. You might even put a timer on this time because you're committed to actually fold that fucking laundry. And then what happens 15 minutes later, I'm doing something else. The timer goes off. I'm busy. I don't have time to go fold the laundry. So I ignore it. I said, I'll come back to that later. 3 days later, walk past the motherfucking dryer, clothes are wrinkly, refresh. The cycle continues. It's a disability, you guys. So I'm not going to just say that, like, I'm going to be a victim for life on that one. I have finally hired a laundry service because I've literally just concluded that this is insanity. So something's got to give. We're officially sending the laundry out. Someone's going to have to fold my fucking underwear. And I'm so thankful. Like, I don't mean that like in a rude way. I mean, like, I was always like, is that weird to have someone fold my underwear? And I'm like, that's okay. Like, that's what they do for a living. Like, I need to like let that go. One day I'm manifesting a house manager that just manages all this, but today is not that day. So today we're just going to bitch about it. We're going to complain about it. And if you also live in a messy house that's never freaking clean, or it's clean for one day and then everything gets messed up, I see you. I feel you. I do not judge you. Okay, so let's get into today's question. Tiffany, I'm a mom of young kids and I love them, but I feel like I've lost the version of me outside of motherhood. How do I step into a fuller identity that includes me again? Okay, Sam, I just wanted to give her name. Listen, Sam, apparently your name is Sam now. So my apologies if your name is Katie. This one is something I'm an expert at because I have actually never felt like I lost myself in motherhood. Like never, ever, ever. And I don't say that to brag. I say that as a power of example because I am always been someone that's like, I am me and I just have kids. And I tell every new mom that's like afraid that their whole life is going to change, I challenge them with the narrative that like they have to change just because they're a mom. What if being a mom is actually an invitation to become a truer version of you? I have never felt more me, even though at the moment I don't even exactly know what's next or what I'm doing. I still know that I'm true to me. And I give myself full permission to be me and pursue the things that I love and see my friends and pursue my passions, knowing that it's actually going to make me a better mom and also be a power of example that it's important to prioritize yourself. You know, in motherhood, the best way to teach your kids anything is to be a power of example. So if you are allowing your identity to be dissolved in the role of mother and you're not really claiming your uniqueness and your authenticity and being a true version of yourself, I say this with love, but it's like you're not actually embodying the power of example for your kids. And your kids, you know, especially getting into elementary, middle, high school ages, they're constantly pressured to conform and fit in. And when they see a mother who doesn't really have a firm sense of identity and isn't really doing things on her terms, doing things that she loves, living a true life, like they will subtly pick that up. They will subtly see that, you know, it's okay to conform. It's okay to just be like everybody else. But if they have a parent that is doing something unique and true to them, like writing a book or going to salsa classes or like taking trips with their girlfriends and making time for themselves and kind of doing things their way, you're actually being a power of example for your kids around the importance of being true and authentic to yourself. Like we can talk about not conforming to peer pressure. You can talk about authenticity with your kids, but nothing's going to beat the power of example. And I honestly talk to my kids about this all the time, about like just being yourself and not worrying about what other people think. My daughter asked me the other day, she's like, well, what happens if you just start doing what everybody else says? Like, what happens to you then, mom? And I'm like, well, then you start to lose your personality. And that's the truth. And that answer just kind of caught me off guard when I said it, but it's the truth. It's like if you just start doing what you think everybody else needs you to do and what everybody else around you is doing, like all the other moms, you start to lose yourself. You start to lose your personality. So I also just want to like validate you and say, like, I understand why you're feeling lost. And I want to provide you a power of example of like someone who has always stayed true to who I am and is that living example to my kids that it is okay to do things differently. Like when I go to fucking school, like I'm the cool mom. I'm sorry, I dress like this. I'm cool. I'm fun. I'm wacky. Like I am just me. It's not about being cool. I'm just saying like I'm me. Like I'm not like I'm an old tired mom. It's okay to like just give up on like how I look and give up on my life and just, get through life. Like I was depressed all summer and I'm still like rolling up like as me. I never lost me truly. And there is a statistic out there that talks about how a daughter's body image and self esteem is very much correlated to the self esteem and body image of their mother. And why does that happen? It's because they model and mirror what their mother is doing. So it's like if they can sense that their mother is confident in their body and talking positively about their body and like their energy is confident, they subtly pick up on that behavior. If the mother is insecure and often talking about their body, the daughter becomes insecure and insecure about her body. And I would say the same would likely be true around authenticity. It's like if you look at a parent and you say that parent is authentically them, like they stayed true to who they are, it's a higher likelihood that your kids are going to stay true to who they are, not get lost in the conformity, not lose their identity in groupthink and what the status quo is. So think of it like that. And the reason I want to present it like that is because it feels like sometimes getting lost in motherhood, like why that happens is because we feel like we're doing it for our kids. It's like we're like giving over, we're like self-sacrificing, we're allowing ourselves to be lost because we love our kids. And you said something in the question about like, I love them, but I feel like I'm losing my identity. And so I want you to see that actually like reclaiming your identity and reclaiming the truth of who you are is actually not only an act of self-love for you, but it's actually going to make you a better mom. Being a truer version of you is actually going to benefit your kids. So have it be an act of self-love for you first and foremost, but secondly, see it as an act of love for your kids because you're going to be a role model to them around what it looks like to live a true life, an authentic life, a happy life. Because the truer you are and the more authentic you are, you're going to be happier. And of course, just like we want our kids to be happy, our kids want us to be happy. I mean, the freaking hardest part about this summer is like the fact that I was sad and I was always afraid that the kids were going to like notice and that they could kind of subtly pick up on my unhappiness and anxiety. And even though they didn't say anything, they probably did. And I'm sure the same is true with your kids. It's like you're putting the smile on your face and you're acting like everything's okay, but inside you might feel like you're dying. You're feeling disconnected from who you truly are. And like your kids can subtly pick up on that. And so the more you give yourself permission to reclaim your identity, reclaim the true you, the more your kids are going to pick up on that energy of just vitality and positivity within you. And if you're like, well, who the fuck am I? I mean, simply refer back to who you were before you had kids. Sure, some things have changed, but what did you love to do before you had kids? Who were you before you had kids? And reclaim that identity and bring some of it into the now. It doesn't have to be all of it. You don't have to go back to everything. But did you have girls' nights? Did you go out for wine? Did you go see a Broadway show? Did you have a hobby? Did you create? Like, is there a dream that you had before you had kids that you never got around to moving forward? Did you want to write the book? Did you want to learn to ride horses? What did you want to do? What did you dream of? What did you like doing before you had kids? And bring that version of you into the here and now. And use me as a power of example when I tell you, like, I have never been more true to myself as I am now with two kids, 8 and 9, 7 and 8. I always forget their ages. What's wrong with me? Shh, don't tell them. You're like, oh yeah, you said you were a good mom, but you can't even remember your kids' ages. Well, you know what? I show up where it counts. And I think that's where I will end the conversation is just like, it's not about quantity of time that you're with your kids. It's about quality, like really being present. And when we're drained and exhausted, like when I was anxious and depressed all summer, I wasn't really there. I was there, but I wasn't there. I wasn't. That was one of the hardest parts. But when I'm centered in myself and who I am, and I'm taking care of myself and doing things I love and taking time for myself, when I do show up with my kids, I am giving from overflow, not depletion. And at the beginning of the summer, I was fucking depleted. And I was like a shitty version of me. Like I was not a good version of me. I was not a good version of being a mom. And the more I'm true to myself and make time for myself, the better mom I am because I'm not resenting my kids. I'm not exhausted because, like, spoiler alert, taking care of yourself and doing things that you love and returning to who you are actually gives you energy. So maybe you're so exhausted because you're just literally giving to everybody else and doing shit like fucking cleaning the goddamn house, cooking goddamn meals, like opening the mail, like so much mail every day. There's mail. Like there's so much mail. But like that stuff's depleting. Being a mom is exhausting. So I can't imagine doing it without taking care of myself. Sure, maybe my house would be clean, but I would be exhausted. And so I prioritize myself getting to the gym, seeing my friends, doing things that I love, podcasting, over cleaning my house. And so maybe you need to hear that like it's going to give you energy and also maybe realize that taking time for yourself and doing things you love may leave less time for your kids, but it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. Maybe you're more present with them and maybe the house is going to get messier and maybe you're going to have to do takeout one of the nights, but like you're going to be happier. You're going to be more at peace. You're going to be that power of example to your kids about showing them what it looks like to live a life that is true to you. So that is today's episode. We are coming back to life. A new year is upon us, and I am looking forward to what this year brings. I remember 2024 was a tough year, and I was like, 2025 is going to be great. It wasn't. It wasn't. So I hate to get my hopes up for 2026, but I am. So let's get our hopes up, and I'll see you again next week.